housing crisis at Virginia Tech may finally be under control. School leaders say they found enough beds to house nearly 1,000 unexpected incoming students. 10 News reporter Lindsay Kennett is live in Blacksburg tonight to explain how the hotel industry is handling the influx of students. Lindsay?
It's feast or famine in the hospitality industry, and Blacksburg is no exception. With the deluge of extra students coming to this football town and taking up coveted hotel rooms, including right here at the Inn at Virginia Tech, the industry is trying to figure out how to accommodate students' families and Hokie fans. It's just a matter of weeks before students head to Virginia Tech's campus, some for the first time. About 525 unexpected new students will be housed on 3 floors of the Inn at Virginia Tech and the entire Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Blacksburg. That means guests who had reservations have to find rooms somewhere else.
There's definitely a ripple effect for sure.
Clay Corner Inn General Manager Joshua Roseberry is already fielding calls from families concerned about where they'll stay for orientation, parents' weekends, graduation, or home football games.
It's put a lot of pressure on the area to be able to handle this increase.
Virginia Tech still plans to hold events at the conference center, and there will be limited rooms for other guests. Montgomery County Regional Tourism Director Lisa Blakely says there will be frustrations.
Having to relocate business or maybe turn business down. But as a destination, we're in a good spot to be able to absorb that.
Summer and fall are usually the busiest seasons, so hotels across the NRV are working together to relocate guests to hotels, Airbnbs, and bed and breakfasts throughout the area.
I have a game in 2020 that I'm already sold out for.
Though Blakely's not worried about the area losing money, and her office, which is mostly funded by the occupancy tax, won't take a huge hit.
Some amount worked into that contract that would protect the town and allow them to recover that tax revenue that they would have received.
Virginia Tech says it'll learn from the experience.
We're going to look at the students that we have now. We're going to make sure that they're well cared for and well maintained and taken care of. And that will inform the way that we recruit and accept our students in the future.
Because the small town can't sustain the huge influx of students and their families forever.
Short term, a lot of stress. Long term, hopefully everything will work out.
The takeaways: make your reservations early, be prepared to commute, and cross your fingers for any cancellations. Live in Blacksburg, I'm Lindsay Kennett, 10 News, working for you.